Sometimes good things happen by accident. I tried and failed numerous times to film a video about tying a killer bug fly pattern. And at the end of several hours with not having anything really to show for it, I decided to do something different, to tie up a random fly pattern with just things that I had lying around the tying bench. And this video that you're about to see is that attempt to tie a fly with some random materials, and it ended up being a wet fly pattern. Those materials are a size 14 hook, some pink thread, some yellow and green yarn, and then finally just some basic hen hackle. So with the hook in the vise, I go ahead and put on the tying thread. Whenever I'm putting on thread, I like to do a few wraps one direction, and then to do a few wraps in the opposite direction. And then a good habit here is to always throw in just a half hitch knot. That saves your work and hopefully keeps that thread from untying on you. After snipping off the tag end of the thread, what I'm going to do next is go ahead and just tie in some yellow and green yarn, and I'm splitting that yarn here because of the size of the hook, right? I don't want the body to be too thick. So just sort of set the yarn on top of the hook, maintain some tension on that thread, and then just wind down the body of the hook to really bind the thread in place. And from there, it just is a matter of wrapping the yarn around the hook. And as you can see here, those wraps are pretty tight, right? I want a tight body on this fly, and that will really keep that yarn together. Once you get to the end, take just a couple wraps of the thread in the front and then behind that yarn, and this again locks it in place. And then from there, just snip off the little tag in there of the yarn. Once again, we're throwing in a half hitch knot to save the work, so to speak. So I am tying in, or attempting to tie in, the hackle here. And after filming this video, I had sort of a decision to make as to whether I leave these next two sections in where you see me try to tie in the hackle, struggle with it, and then ultimately have to restart. And I decided to just leave these two sections in here because I think so often when it comes to fly tying videos on YouTube, what we see is perfection, right? What we see is people that never show the mistakes. And I decided to just leave these two sections in because this is a part of real life fly tying. You won't always get the hackle tied in the right way the first time or even the second time. So again, kind of mess that up, and I'm going to go ahead and do a third attempt here where I finally get it bound correctly. And then taking those hackle pliers, which is really key. If you don't have a pair of hackle pliers, I would definitely encourage you to get one. I'm going to go ahead and wind that feather around the hook a few times. And again, as I get to the end there, just binding down the feather to make sure that it is locked in place. I like to do that both in the front and in the back. And then from there, we'll just snip off the part of the feather that we didn't use. And then from there, take a couple wraps right in front of the hook eye to keep that feather in place. And you'll notice that there's a lot of tension on that thread. I find that that's really important here as we get to the end. And then the final step is just to do a whip finish. I like to whip finish 4 or 5 times. I find that that really secures the fly. Then just cut the thread and you have a finished wet fly.